Commander Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance and looked at the screen that showed bad news from across the galaxy. 3 months had passed since the alien message reached Earth. The message was simple and scary. Humanity had to give up half of their colonies and let the aliens control them, or every human in space would die. Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez walked up to him with another report. "Sir, the news from the outer colonies is getting worse. The Vexery ships destroyed 2 more of our settlements. They are not waiting for the deadline anymore." Jake felt angry as he read about all the people who had died. The Galactic Council was made up of 3 alien races. The Vexery had the best technology and could destroy planets. The Mentari could read minds and control thoughts. The Korthak were warriors who loved to fight. All 3 races thought humans were weak and had grown too fast across space on Earth. President Lisa Carter was meeting with leaders from around the world. They argued about what to do. Some people wanted to give the aliens what they asked for. Others wanted to try talking to them. But more and more people agreed with General Pete Harrison. He said humanity should fight back against all the aliens in the galaxy. Dr. Helen Wade studied aliens for many years. She told the world leaders what she had learned. "The information we have shows the Council has done this before. They have conquered or killed dozens of other species. We are not the first ones they have threatened, and we will not be the last unless we stop them. The aliens thought they were so much better than humans. They have ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. No one had ever said no to them before. The Vexery could travel faster than light and had weapons that could crack planets in half. The Mentari lived for hundreds of years and could make other species do whatever they wanted. The Korthak had conquered 50 worlds and never lost a battle, but the aliens did not understand humans very well. They saw that humans were new to space travel. They saw that human technology was not as advanced. They thought this meant humans would be easy to beat. They were very wrong about that. President Carter read reports from all the human colonies. The aliens were already attacking even though the deadline was still 2 weeks away. Families were dying on distant worlds. Children were being killed by alien weapons. The aliens were not just demanding surrender. They were already starting the killing. General Harrison showed the president's secret files. "We have been preparing for this day for 10 years. We knew this would happen eventually. The aliens think they know everything about us, but they have never seen humans fight for their survival." Dr. Wade had been studying the alien races in secret. She found their weak points. The Vexery are very smart, but they only know how to fight in one way. The Mentari are powerful, but they cannot read human minds as easily as other aliens. The Korthak are strong, but they do not work well together. The meeting lasted for 18 hours. Leaders from every continent argued about the choice. Some said humanity should run away to another galaxy. Others said they should hide and hope the aliens would forget about them. But most agreed that running would not work. The aliens would find humans anywhere they went. Jake Morrison received new orders on his ship. All human military forces were told to get ready for war. Soldiers on 100 worlds checked their weapons. Pilots climbed into their fighters. Scientists worked day and night to build new ships and guns. The aliens expected humans to cry and beg for mercy. They expected humans to offer them money or resources. They expected humans to act like all the other species they had conquered before. The aliens had made many species into slaves over the years. They thought humans would be just another group of servants. President Carter walked to the podium to speak to the world. Billions of people watched her on screens across Earth and the colonies. The aliens were watching too. They expected to hear humanity surrender. "My fellow humans," she began. "Today we face a choice that will decide the future of our species. We can bow down to those who think they own the galaxy, or we can stand up and fight for our freedom. We can let them decide how we live, or we can show them what humans are really made of." She looked directly into the camera. Her voice was strong and clear. "Today, humanity chooses to stand. We declare that we will not submit, we will not retreat, and we will not be conquered. If the universe wants a war, then by God they will get one. The message went out across the galaxy. Every alien species heard it. The Galactic Council could not believe what they had just heard. No species had ever declared war on the entire galactic order before the war had begun. Admiral Steve Collins was on the UES Retribution when he heard President Carter's declaration. Within 1 hour, every human military base across 47 star systems was ready for battle. The human response was fast and organized in a way that surprised even their own leaders. Captain LeVar Burnett was in command of the New Portland colony when the first alien ships appeared. The Vexery expected an easy victory, but found that humans had been getting ready for this day. Hidden weapon. Platforms turned on, and thousands of small fighter ships launched from secret bases. They thought they were hunting sheep, Bennett said to her crew as Lieutenant Ryan Murphy coordinated the fight back. They found wolves instead. The battle for New Portland became a symbol of human courage. The colonists used hit-and-run tactics and homemade weapons to fight back. They held out for 6 days against an enemy that had 10 times more ships. When help finally arrived, the Vexery were shocked to find that humans had captured 3 of their vessels without damaging them. The aliens had never lost ships to a species they were trying to conquer. The Vexery ships were supposed to be impossible to board, but humans had found a way. They used small ships to get close, then cut through the alien hulls with tools meant for mining asteroids. Once inside, human soldiers fought the aliens hand-to-hand. On Earth, Dr. Kevin Nash led a team that studied the captured alien technology. Their weapons are powerful, but they are all the same design, he told General Harrison. They have grown lazy from hundreds of years of being the strongest. We can learn and change faster than they can. The alien weapons were indeed powerful, but they were also predictable. Every Vexery ship had the same guns in the same places. Every Mentari vessel used the same shields. Every Korthic warship followed the same battle plans. The aliens had not needed to improve their technology for so long that they had forgotten how to adapt. Meanwhile, Agent Diana Foster's spy network across the galaxy began to work. Humans had spent decades living among the aliens and learning their secrets. Many humans now held important jobs in alien governments and militaries. The aliens had let their greatest enemies get close to them without even knowing it. The first major human victory came at the Centaur Junction. Commander Bill Santos was in charge of a small fleet when a much larger Korthak battle group attacked. Instead of fighting the way aliens expected, Santos split his ships up and attacked from 6 directions at once. The Korthak could not respond fast enough to the changing tactics. The alien commander tried to contact Santos during the battle. "You fight without honor," the Korthak said. "Stand and face us properly." Santos replied, "We fight to win. Honor is for the living." When the battle was over, the entire Korthic fleet was destroyed. Not a single human ship was lost. The news spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. For the first time in galactic history, humans had completely defeated a council fleet in open combat. The aliens began to realize they might have made a mistake. The Vexery had thought their technology made them unbeatable. The Mentari had believed their mental powers would let them control any enemy. The Korthic had assumed their warrior culture made them the best fighters in the galaxy. All 3 races were learning that humans did not fight like anyone else. Captain Bennett received new orders to attack alien supply lines. Human ships began hitting enemy convoys that were bringing weapons and food to alien fleets. The aliens had never had to protect their supply ships before because no enemy had ever been able to reach them. Lieutenant Murphy developed new tactics for fighting in asteroid fields. Human ships were smaller than alien vessels, so they could hide among the rocks and attack by surprise. The aliens kept losing ships to enemies they could not see coming. Dr. Nash made a breakthrough when he figured out how alien faster-than-light drives worked. "If we can disrupt their quantum fields," he explained to other scientists, "we can trap their ships in normal space where our weapons work better." The idea was tested during a battle near Jupiter. Human ships used modified mining equipment to create a field that stopped alien ships from jumping to light speed. The trapped alien vessels were destroyed before they could escape. Agent Foster sent reports from deep inside alien territory. "They are starting to panic," she wrote. "The Vexari are arguing with the Mentari about strategy. The Korthek are demanding more ships to replace the ones they have lost. Some of the smaller alien species are asking questions about whether this war is a good idea." The Council had ruled the galaxy by making other species afraid of them, but humans were not afraid. Every time the aliens attacked a human colony, more humans joined the fight. Every time aliens destroyed a human ship, humans built 2 more. To replace it, the aliens had started this war expecting it to last a few days. They thought humans would surrender as soon as they saw how powerful the Council was. Instead, the war was spreading to more and more star systems. Human ships were appearing in places the aliens thought were safe. Admiral Collins received intelligence. That changed everything. The aliens were planning to use their planet-killer weapons on Earth itself. The massive ships could destroy an entire world in minutes. No species had ever survived an attack by the planet killers, but humans had been. Studying those ships for months, they had found a weakness that the aliens did not know about. The planet killers were so big and powerful that they needed special quantum foundations to hold together. If those foundations were disrupted, the ships would tear themselves apart. The test would come soon. A Vexari planet killer was heading toward the Sol system. It would arrive in 3 days. Admiral Collins smiled as he gave his orders. The aliens were about to learn another lesson about fighting humans. The war was just beginning. 3 weeks into the war, the real size of human preparation became clear. Secret shipyards hidden inside asteroids began launching ships that used both human creativity and stolen alien technology. The UES Vengeance, under Captain Alex Taylor, struck deep into Mentari space using new stealth technology that made the ship invisible. Colonel Sandra Lee led the first human ground attack on an alien homeworld. The liberation of Kepler 442b shocked every species in the galaxy. No one had ever successfully invaded a Council member's planet before. Lee's forces used advanced battle armor and fear tactics that completely destroyed the Mentari defenders. "The enemy expects us to fight like them," Lee explained to her officers before the attack. "We will fight like humans. Fast, dirty, and without mercy for those who show us none." The battle for Kepler 442b lasted only 12 hours. Human soldiers moved through the alien cities like ghosts, appearing where the Mentari least expected them. The aliens could read some human thoughts, but they could not predict human actions. Humans changed their plans so quickly that even mind readers could not keep up. The Mentari had ruled their world for 800 years. They had never seen warfare on their own soil. When human dropships landed in their capital city, many aliens simply ran away in terror. Others tried to surrender, but human soldiers had orders to keep fighting until every military target was destroyed. The Council's response was to bring their most powerful weapons into the fight. The Vexari sent their planet killers, massive ships that could make entire worlds uninhabitable. These vessels were the size of small moons and carried enough firepower to crack a planet's crust. Humanity's answer was Operation Hellstorm, planned by Admiral Collins and Dr. Wade working together. Instead of trying to fight the planet killers with conventional weapons, humans would target the quantum foundations that held the giant ship stable. Captain Tony Lewis piloted the experimental UES Phoenix in the first test of humanity's new quantum disruption technology. His ship was much smaller than the alien dreadnought, but it carried weapons designed specifically to tear apart the enemy's most basic structure. The battle took place near Saturn. The Vexari planet killer emerged from faster-than-light travel expecting to find Earth defenseless. Instead, it found Captain Lewis waiting with a weapon the aliens had never seen before. "Target their quantum matrix," Lewis ordered his weapons. "Officer, fire when ready." The quantum disruptor beam hit the alien ship and began tearing apart the energy fields that held it together. The planet killer tried to return fire, but its weapons could not hit what they could not understand. Within minutes, the mighty vessel simply stopped existing. The psychological impact was enormous. Across the galaxy, alien species began questioning whether humanity could actually be stopped. The planet killers had been considered invincible for 1,000 years. If humans could destroy them, what else could they do? Intelligence officer Rachel Stone reported from deep inside the Council's command center. "They are panicking," she transmitted to Earth. 3 species have already pulled their fleets back to defend their homeworlds. The Mentari are talking about asking for peace terms, and the Vexari are discussing whether to use their ultimate weapon. The ultimate weapon was something the aliens had built but never used. It was designed to destroy entire star systems by making their suns explode. The weapon was so dangerous that even the Council was afraid of it. But desperation was making them consider terrible options. Human spies throughout alien space began reporting the same thing. The aliens were fighting among themselves about what to do next. Some wanted to negotiate with humanity before more damage was done. Others wanted to escalate the war even further. Captain Taylor's stealth missions were causing chaos behind alien lines. His ship would appear in alien space, destroy military targets, and vanish before defenders could respond. The Mentari could not detect the ship with their mental powers because the human crew was trained to think about other things during missions. "We think about home," Taylor explained to his crew. "We think about Earth, about our families, about anything except what we are actually doing. Let them read our thoughts about baseball games while we blow up their weapons factories." The tactic worked perfectly. Mentari defenders would sense human minds thinking about peaceful things, so they would not raise alarms. By the time they realized they were being attacked, it was too late to stop the damage. Colonel Lee's ground forces had moved on to their second target, a Korthik military world called Bloodstone. The aliens had fortified the planet with weapons that could destroy attacking fleets before they reached orbit. But Lee's forces did not attack from space. Human ships arrived at the edge of the system and launched thousands of small pods that looked like space debris. The pods drifted through the system for days, ignored by Korthik sensors. When they finally reached the planet, they opened up and released human soldiers who had been in suspended animation. The humans landed across the planet's surface in the middle of the night. They had spent months studying Korthik military bases and knew exactly where to strike. Within hours, every major weapon installation was destroyed from the inside. The Korthik warriors tried to fight back, but they were trained for honorable combat between armies. They did not know how to deal with enemies who struck from shadows and disappeared before they could be found. For the first time in their history, the mighty Korthik were learning what it felt like to be afraid. Dr. Nash announced another breakthrough to the human military command. "We have learned how to jam alien communications across entire star systems," he reported. "We can make their fleets unable to coordinate with each other or receive orders from their homeworlds." The first test of the communication jamming happened during a battle in the Vega system. A combined alien fleet of over 200 ships found themselves unable to talk to each other when human jamming devices activated. The alien commanders had to use hand signals and flashing lights to try to coordinate their attack. Human forces destroyed the confused alien fleet with ease. Ships that should have worked together perfectly instead collided with each other or fired on their own allies by mistake. Agent Foster sent her most important report yet. "The Council is falling apart," she wrote. "Member species are refusing to follow orders. Some are secretly negotiating with human diplomats. The Vexari leadership is split between those who want to destroy Earth and those who want to survive this war." The momentum had shifted completely. What had started as an alien attempt to crush humanity had become a human campaign to liberate the galaxy. The war entered its third month with humanity controlling the fight across multiple battlefronts. General Harrison had changed Earth's military completely, creating fast response fleets that could attack anywhere in the galaxy within days. Captain Nicole Parker led the assault on the Vexari stronghold at Volf 359, the battle that would become known as humanity's greatest stand. Her fleet was outnumbered 50-1, but Parker used the star system's dangerous conditions to create an artificial solar flare that disabled half the enemy force. Sometimes you have to fight the star itself to win the war, Parker told her. Crew as they flew directly toward the unstable sun. The Vexry ships tried to follow, but their technology could not handle the extreme radiation that humans had learned to work with. Engineer Commander Gary Brooks had been studying captured alien technology for weeks when he made the discovery that changed everything. All the Council species use the same basic faster-than-light principles, he explained to human military leaders. If we can disrupt their quantum matrices on a large enough scale, we can trap entire fleets. The plan was more ambitious than anything humans had ever attempted. Using a network of quantum disruption devices, humanity would create zones where alien faster-than-light drives simply could not function. It required perfect coordination across dozens of star systems. Dr. Patricia Young was leading the civilian resistance on worlds the aliens thought they had conquered. Her underground network was actually the foundation for massive sabotage operations. Every alien-occupied planet had humans working secretly to prepare for the disruption plan. Lieutenant Commander Jeff Davis commanded the UES Striker during the Battle of the Nexus, where humanity first showed they could control galactic travel routes. When a Council reinforcement fleet arrived to find themselves trapped in normal space, the balance of power shifted permanently. The aliens had controlled galactic transportation for thousands of years. They had built jump gates in hyperspace, lanes that connected their empire. Now humans were turning that infrastructure against them. Alien fleets would jump toward battle only to find themselves stuck in empty space with no way to escape. Admiral Collins watched the battle reports from his command ship. Human forces were winning everywhere. The aliens had superior numbers and better individual weapons, but they could not adapt to human tactics fast enough to matter. The first alien species to ask for peace talks were the Korthek. Their warrior culture respected strength, and humans had proven they were stronger fighters. A Korthek diplomat arrived on a human ship under a flag of truce. "Your species fights with honor," the alien ambassador said to President Carter. "We wish to discuss terms for ending hostilities between our peoples." President Carter's response was broadcast across the galaxy so every species could hear it. "We did not start this war, but we will decide when it ends. Any species that wants peace must first prove they deserve it by freeing every slave they have taken and returning every world they have conquered." The demand shocked the galactic community. No one had ever asked the Council to give up territory before. The aliens had spent centuries taking over weaker species and forcing them to work as servants. Now humans were demanding justice for all those crimes. Captain Parker's victory at Volf 359 had inspired human forces throughout the galaxy. Her tactics were studied and copied by other commanders. Soon, alien fleets everywhere were facing enemies who could turn entire star systems into weapons. Commander Brooks finished building the first large-scale quantum disruption network. It covered 12 star systems and could trap any alien fleet that tried to pass through. The system was tested when a Mentari battle group tried to attack the human colony at New Geneva. The alien ships jumped into the system expecting to find a helpless human settlement. Instead, they found themselves unable to leave while human defense forces surrounded them. The entire Mentari fleet surrendered without firing a shot. Dr. Young's resistance fighters began liberating alien prison camps, where other species had been held as slaves for generations. Many of these species had forgotten they were ever free. When human soldiers broke down the prison doors, some aliens were afraid to leave because they did not know how to live without masters. "We are not here to replace your old masters, human," soldiers told the freed slaves. "We are here to help you remember how to be free." The liberation of the prison worlds turned dozens of species into human allies. Aliens who had been servants for centuries now fought alongside humans against their former oppressors. The Council found themselves facing enemies they had created through their own cruelty. Agent Foster reported from the Council's emergency meetings. "They are completely divided now," she transmitted. "Half want to negotiate peace before they lose everything. The other half want to activate the Starkiller weapon and destroy the Sol system even if it means their own destruction." The Starkiller was the most dangerous weapon in the galaxy. It could make suns explode and destroy entire solar systems. But the weapon was so powerful that using it might damage space itself in ways no one could predict. Human intelligence learned that the Starkiller was hidden in a secret location that only the top council leaders knew about. Finding and destroying the weapon became humanity's most important mission. Captain Taylor's stealth ship was chosen for the mission. His crew had become experts at moving through alien space without being detected. They would have to penetrate the most heavily defended location in the galaxy and destroy a weapon that could kill billions of people. The battle for galactic freedom was reaching its climax. Across hundreds of worlds, humans and their new allies were fighting to end thousands of years of oppression. The Council's empire was cracking under pressure it had never faced before. Lieutenant Davis received orders to begin the final phase of the quantum disruption network. Soon, the aliens would be completely unable to move their fleets around the galaxy. Their empire would be broken into isolated pieces that could be defeated one by one. But first, the Starkiller had to be found and destroyed, if the Council was willing to end the galaxy rather than lose control of it. Humanity had to be ready to stop them. The war had become about more than human survival. It was now about saving every free species in the galaxy from extinction. By the fourth month, the war had spread to every inhabited system in the galaxy. Humanity's strategy of turning the Council's own systems against them was working better than anyone had hoped. Captain Brandon Clark led a daring attack that captured the Council's Central Command facility, giving humans access to thousands of years of strategic intelligence. Admiral Karen White commanded the liberation of the sanctuary worlds, star systems where the Council had kept protected species under their control for generations. The discovery of what was really galactic slavery turned many neutral species toward humanity's cause. "We are not just fighting for our freedom," President Carter announced to the galaxy. "We are fighting to free every species that has been held down by this corrupt system." The Council's response was desperate and dangerous. The remaining Vexery leadership decided to activate their most forbidden weapon, a device that could collapse entire star systems. Their target was Earth itself, and everyone knew it. Commander Sam Miller piloted the UES Guardian in humanity's most critical mission. His ship carried Dr. Wade's experimental counterweapon to intercept the Vexery Doomsday device. The battle would take place in hyperspace itself, a realm where human intuition proved better than alien calculations. The hyperspace battle was unlike anything ever fought before. Normal physics did not work the same way in the dimension between dimensions. Alien computers could not calculate trajectories properly, but human pilots could feel their way through the chaotic environment. Miller's crew fought the Vexery Starkiller in a place where up and down had no meaning and time moved in circles. The alien weapon was massive and powerful, but it was designed to work in normal space. In hyperspace, it was clumsy and slow. "Fire everything we have," Miller ordered as his ship danced around the alien doomsday weapon. "If that thing reaches Earth, everyone we know dies." Lieutenant Jennifer Adams coordinated the evacuation of Earth's major cities while the battle raged beyond normal space. For 6 hours, humanity held its breath as their fate was decided in a place most people could not even imagine. The battle ended when Miller's crew managed to disrupt the Starkiller's power core. The massive weapon tore itself apart in hyperspace, creating an explosion that lit up the quantum realm like a second sun. When Miller's ship returned to normal space, he carried news that Earth was safe, but the war was not over yet. Agent Foster's intelligence network had discovered the location of the Council's Supreme Command Center, a hidden fortress that controlled the entire galactic empire. The facility was protected by the most advanced defenses in the galaxy and was thought to be impossible to attack. 30 human fleets converged on the secret location in what became known as the Hour of Liberation. The attack was coordinated perfectly, with each fleet arriving at exactly the right moment to overwhelm different parts of the alien defenses. Captain Clark led the assault on the main fortress while Admiral White's forces destroyed the defensive satellites. Captain Parker attacked the communication arrays that let the Council control their empire. Every human commander had studied the target for weeks and knew exactly what they had to do. The battle for the Council's command center lasted 3 hours. The aliens fought desperately to protect the seat of their power, but they were facing enemies who had learned all their secrets. Human forces broke through defenses that had never been breached before. When the fortress finally fell, thousands of years of galactic oppression came to an end. The Council's leaders were captured or killed, and their control over hundreds of species was broken. Without their puppet masters, alien fleets across the galaxy began surrendering. Dr. Young's liberation forces found records in the Council archives that shocked everyone. The aliens had destroyed over 50 species completely, wiping them out because they were too dangerous or too independent. Hundreds of other species had been reduced to slavery or near extinction. "The galaxy is full of graves," Dr. Young reported. "Entire civilizations erased because they would not bow down to alien rule. We are fighting for the dead as much as the living." The discovery of the Council's genocide records turned even their former allies against them. Species that had served the Council for centuries now realized they had been helping to commit the greatest crimes in galactic history. Commander Brooks activated the completed quantum disruption network across the entire galaxy. Alien fleets found themselves trapped in their current locations, unable to jump to faster-than-light travel. The Council's empire was broken into thousands of isolated pieces. Without the ability to move their forces quickly, the remaining alien military units could not coordinate their defense. Human fleets could attack any target they chose, while the enemy could only wait and hope they would not be next. The Mentari were the first major species to surrender completely. Their leaders sent a message to President Carter offering to serve humanity the same way they had served the Council. Carter's response was broadcast across the galaxy. "We do not want servants," she said. "We want partners. Any species that chooses freedom over slavery will be welcomed as equals. Any species that chooses oppression over justice will be stopped." The Vexari fought to the end, but even their advanced technology could not save them from human determination. Their last fleet was destroyed defending their homeworld from Admiral Collins' forces. The species that had started the war was the last to accept that they had lost it. With their leadership dead and their fleets scattered, the remaining Council forces began laying down their weapons. Species that had been enemies for thousands of years suddenly found themselves without their puppet masters telling them who to fight. Captain Taylor's stealth missions had gathered intelligence on dozens of secret Council facilities. Human forces began liberating research stations where the aliens had been experimenting on captured prisoners. The horrors they found there made everyone understand why this war had been necessary. The galactic communication networks that had carried Council propaganda for centuries began broadcasting human messages of freedom and hope. Species that had never heard of alternatives to oppression learned that other ways of living were possible, but the greatest victory was not military. It was the moment when former enemies began working together to build something better than what had come before. A Council had ruled through fear and division. Humanity offered cooperation and mutual respect. The war was ending. But the real work of building a free galaxy was just beginning. 6 months after President Carter's declaration, the galaxy was completely transformed. The Galactic Council lay in ruins, replaced by the Free Species Alliance with humanity as its founding member. The war officially ended not with conquest, but with the largest peace treaty in galactic history. Admiral Collins stood on the rebuilt station at Galactic Center, now serving as headquarters for the new alliance. Representatives from over 200 species had gathered to sign the Freedom Accords, guaranteeing the right of self-determination for all intelligent life. The signing ceremony was broadcast to every world in the galaxy. Species that had been slaves for centuries watched as their representatives signed documents that made them free and equal citizens of a new galactic government. Captain Bennett, now promoted to Admiral, led the new peacekeeping force, the Human Military doctrine of protecting the weak while challenging the strong became the Alliance's core principle. Former Council warships were converted into rescue vessels and exploration ships. Dr. Nash presented his final report on the technological integration project. We have shared our innovations freely and received knowledge in return, he told the Alliance Council. The galaxy is entering a golden age of cooperation and discovery. The sharing of technology worked both ways. Humans learned alien medical techniques that could extend life and cure diseases. Aliens learned human engineering methods that made their ships faster and more efficient. The combination of different approaches to science created breakthroughs that no single species could have achieved alone. On Earth, President Carter addressed the world one final time as wartime leader. "We did not seek this conflict, but we emerged stronger," she said to billions of listeners. Humanity has proven that determination and innovation can overcome any obstacle, no matter how impossible it seems. The transformation of galactic society happened quickly once the Council's control was broken. Species that had been forced to fight each other for thousands of years discovered they had more in common than they had differences. Trade routes that had been restricted by alien law opened up, bringing prosperity to worlds that had been poor for generations. Dr. Young became the Alliance's first Director of Liberation Affairs, helping former slave species learn how to govern themselves. Many of these civilizations had forgotten how to make their own decisions after centuries of being told what to do by their masters. "Freedom is not just the absence of chains," Dr. Young explained to newly liberated species. "It is the presence of choice. We will help you learn to choose for yourselves, but we will never choose for you." The former Council worlds faced the hardest transition. The Vexari, Mentari, and Korthek had to learn how to live as equals instead of masters. Some adapted quickly and became valued members of the Alliance. Others struggled with the loss of their privileged position. Commander Miller took charge of exploring the regions of space that had been forbidden under Council rule. His ships discovered ancient civilizations that had been hiding from alien oppression for thousands of years. These hidden species emerged from their hiding places to join the growing Alliance. The exploration missions also found the ruins of species the Council had destroyed. Memorial sites were built on dead worlds to honor civilizations that had been wiped out for refusing to surrender their freedom. The galaxy would remember both its heroes and its victims. Agent Foster became the Alliance's first intelligence director, but her job was very different from her wartime role. Instead of gathering secrets for war, she now worked to share information that helped species understand and cooperate with each other. Captain Clark established the Alliance's first mixed species exploration fleet. Ships crewed by humans, former Council species, and newly liberated civilizations worked together to map unknown regions of the galaxy. The spirit of cooperation that had won the war now drove peaceful exploration. The quantum disruption network that had trapped alien fleets during the war was converted into a communication system that connected every world in the Alliance. For the first time in galactic history, any species could talk directly to any other species without government censorship. Admiral White oversaw the conversion of military shipyards into civilian construction facilities. The factories that had built weapons of war now produced ships for trade, exploration, and scientific research. Swords were literally being turned into plowshares on a galactic scale 1 year after the war ended. Commander Morrison served as an Alliance diplomat watching former enemies work together to explore previously forbidden regions of space. The human colony ships that had once been threatened now led mixed species expeditions to distant galaxies. The transformation was most visible among the young. Children from different species played together on Alliance worlds, learning each other's languages and customs. They would grow up in a galaxy where cooperation was normal and oppression was just a story from the dark past. Young Lieutenant Bobby Johnson, fresh from the academy, asked Morrison about the war during a diplomatic mission. "Sir, why did they think they could defeat us?" Morrison smiled as he looked out at the stars that now belonged to all free species. "They made the same mistake tyrants always make, son. They confused compliance with weakness. They never understood that humans do not fight just for themselves. We fight for the idea that everyone deserves to be free. The alliance grew stronger. Every year, as more species joined and contributed their unique knowledge and abilities to the common good, the galaxy that had once been divided by fear and hatred was now united by hope and mutual respect. Trade flourished between worlds that had been enemies for millennia. Scientific discoveries accelerated as different species shared their research. Art and culture spread freely across the galaxy, creating a renaissance of creativity that touched every civilization. The day humanity declared war on the universe became the day the universe learned what freedom truly meant. The galaxy would never again tolerate the oppression of the weak by the strong. The human example had shown that any species, no matter how small or new, could stand up for justice and win. In the end, humanity's greatest victory was not the destruction of their enemies, but the creation of a galaxy where no one would ever again have to choose between freedom and survival. The war was over, but the peace it had won would last forever.